Well folks, welcome to snowy Dublin as we approach Christmas and the end of the year 2010. An annus horribilis for an awful lot of people in Ireland. 2010, the year the IMF came in and took over the finances of the country, and we had a budget to match. A very harsh, severe budget. Now, a few weeks ago I made a video and I used the phrase Kakistocracy, and it's a Greek word, and it means a country run by a corrupt, incompetent and stupid elite. And I believe that that's the word which best describes Ireland. And I also believe that what we saw a few weeks ago was a Kakistocracy budget. Cutbacks, yes, 4% cutbacks for people on social welfare, unemployed, 4% on carers, who are reckoned to save the government around 2 billion a year. And the absolute low point had to be a cutback on blind people's allowance. Absolutely extraordinary. Also, a 12% cutback for people on the minimum wage. Now, all of this to save money, and I'm still trying to figure out how, if you take 40 or 50 euros a week off someone on the minimum wage, that actually saves the government money. I haven't figured that one out yet, but then I'll admit I'm no economist. Now, so cutbacks for all? Well, actually no, not cutbacks for all, because once again our elite remain pretty much untouched. Yes, a small cutback on our Taoiseach and our Taoiseach and other politicians' wages, but they still remain paid way more than their equivalent. For example, next door in the UK, David Cameron is paid something like 60,000 euros less than our wonderful Taoiseach, and so on. And also people like our hospital consultants continue to start on 200,000 a year plus. That's about twice what they'd earn in the UK. A few years ago, one of our hospital consultants described his salary as a Mickey Mouse wage. Interesting. What about our university professors, paid way more than many of their equivalents across the water in Britain or over in America or Canada or Germany or countries like this, and so on. So our elite, our Kakistocracy, remain in place, and I find it extraordinary after everything that's happened, after the EU and the European Central Bank and the IMF. All these people came in and they all looked at the figures, and still our elite are paying themselves money that we don't have, that we're not earning, and that they sure as hell don't deserve. That, folks, is the budget of a Kakistocracy. Here we are in front of our Prime Minister's office, and sometime in the early months of next year we will have a new government and a new occupant of the Prime Minister's office. Thank God, says you, that whoever the new government are, they can't possibly be any worse than the people who've occupied here for the last 13 years. Now, as a taxpayer, as part of the backbone of our society, I'd like to make a couple of suggestions to the new government. First of all, I'd like to wish them well. I don't envy them their task, whoever they may be. And second of all, I want to make a couple of suggestions. I think the country is crying out for a sense of change, and that something new is going to happen in a better Ireland. So here's two suggestions, folks. First of all, to the new government, may I humbly suggest that you walk into our government, our civil service, our permanent government as they're called, and get rid of the top two layers of every single government department. These people have failed, folks. They have failed completely. And I also think they have lost their sense of duty. They are simply looking after themselves and feathering their own nests at the expense of almost everybody else in the country. A lot of people in the banks and the government have quite correctly been given blame for the mess that the country is in. I think the forgotten third element of the mess we're in is the senior civil service. I think these people are no longer fit for purpose. I think the final point was the budget. To bring in a budget which takes money off unemployed, carers, blind people, I find that extraordinary, and people on the minimum wage, and keep themselves at their own massively overpaid rates, is absolutely appalling. I think these people are no longer fit for purpose. I think the senior Irish civil service now resembles something like late 18th century France. We are the peasants, we can eat cake as long as these people stay in their positions in power. I think they're a disgrace to the tradition of the civil service. To great people like Ken Whittaker, who was recently voted the greatest living Irish person, and other great civil servants. I think if the new government wants to show that a new Ireland really is coming, then I think they should walk in to the corridors of power and get rid of the top 2 levels of every government department. Apart from just over here, the Department of Finance, I think they should get rid of 90% of them. I think they're a complete failure. I think they're a joke. They've been wrong for the last 10 years. Nobody noticed while we were in the black, but the last 3 years, every single projection these people have come up with has been way off the mark. If you want to show that we have arrived at a new Ireland, start at the top, not at the bottom. Start at the top and get rid of the top 2 levels of every government department. While you're at it, if you really want to save money, why not get rid of the HSE? That's appalling. Why not get rid of FOSS, replace it with something much better? And please get rid of all those quangos. 5 billion they're estimated to cost. They don't do anything. And please, 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 to the new government, do not do what all new governments have done so far. Get into power and stuff the quangos with your cronies. That will just be more of the same Tweedledum, Tweedledee politics, which has failed this country completely. Now, I want to offer a constructive suggestion as well. Here's what you might do with your appointees. Set up a new government department. And this is something they did in Iceland. A department of ideas. I think this country is full of bright, clever, intelligent people with lots of ideas of how to get out of this mess. Please, government, new government, whoever you are, please don't imagine that you have all the answers. But lots of people out there, all around the country, have new ideas. So why not pick 100 people from your own parties, if you want to, and set up a new department, a department of ideas. Go around the country, organise a series of conferences and events, and get several thousand people from all over Ireland to throw out good ideas. Compile the best of those and come up with a plan. You can call it 2020 vision, because almost certainly the new government will be in power 2 terms of office. So you have 10 years to plan, folks. A new department of ideas to give us a new Ireland. So in conclusion, what I'd love to see from the new government on behalf of all my fellow taxpayers is a sense of hope and a sense of doing things differently. This place here, I think, has been taken over by an elite of people really only interested in themselves. I think the last budget was completely, if I can use the word, un-Christian, and definitely not a budget worthy of a republic. So whoever the new government is, when you come into power, throw them out. Throw out the people at the top. Throw out the media spinners, the spin doctors, the advisors, the specialist groups, the lobby groups, the vested interests. These people have taken over power in this country. They need to go. Give it back to the people. Listen to the ordinary people. They know best. And bring us back towards a democratic republic and give us a sense of hope.